All right, we're going to start in a few minutes. Just check everything here. How we looking? Hope everybody's doing awesome today. Let me know in the comments. How's the audio? How's everything else? Looks good? Can you hear me good? Can you see me good? I hope you guys are doing awesome. And in today's live stream, we're going to talk about learning to code, getting a job, expectations versus reality. Because there's a lot of times people ask me, the question, it's all well and good. You want to switch careers or you want to get into a field that you could make a lot of money potentially. The truth is, there's a lot of YouTubers and other people out there who make it seem like it's something you could do in 2-3 months. And, that's just not the reality of the situation. And maybe if you go to a boot camp for 3 months, but a boot camp, they're hit or miss. There's few that are really good. And there's a couple that I like that I could tell you later in the video. But even when you go to a boot camp, the idea is you're literally studying all your free time, and the rest of the time, like 6 hours a night, you're sleeping. So you're being immersed in code, and it's a very rigorous process. So maybe it is possible, and I know some people who did it. It doesn't mean that it's easy and that anybody could do it. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. And I'm realizing that you guys can't see my face, which is probably good. But that's what we're going to talk about in this video. You guys say hello in the comments. Let me know. I could see some of you guys are already here. It's going to be fun. We have Logix here. Logix Indy has been teaching me some JavaScript web development. We had a lot of fun last night. If you haven't checked out some of the projects he made on his channel, go check him out. Really good teacher, by the way, also. Thanks, Jose. Thanks, Indy, that you guys could hear me and see me good. So did I sign up for the boot camp? I did, for $129. And if you don't know what we talked about, I will talk about it later today. You could check out if you haven't seen the last video I made. And I'll tell you why I did it, and I'll talk more about it in this live stream as well. We're going to have a lot of fun today. But for now, let's say hello to everybody. Hope everybody's doing good. Greetings from South America, guys. Hola todos. Hey, hola. Great to have you here. But I'm glad to have all you guys here. And by the way, I could never have this live stream without you guys. So it doesn't matter how many people tune in. It's always fun chatting with you guys and having fun. So in today's video, we're going to talk about learning to code, getting a job, expectations versus reality. And the truth is, nothing is ever easy. And you hear me talk about it on this channel a lot. And yesterday I was working with IndyLogic, working on, learning JavaScript game development, and there's so much logic involved in making games that, like, even for someone who knows what they're doing, it's still a lot of hard work, and there's still a lot of debugging, and things don't work from the beginning like you expect them to work. Things break, and then the big process of developing is troubleshooting and debugging your code. And what's interesting, Logix and I were talking about that a lot of people don't see that side of development. So they see these perfect tutorials with no mistakes, or maybe 1 or 2 mistakes. People do them, and it make it look like it's easy, but reality, that's not how real coding is. And there's times where at work, I could literally spend a full day, 8 hours trying to figure something out. But we'll talk more about that. But that's the truth, guys. That's the truth. Let's say more hellos here. Claudia, hey, good to see you. Greetings to you. My coding family, greetings to you too. Glad to have you here. Jose is asking, where am I? Another one here from Latin America. Uruguay here. Claudia, yep. Let's see here. Where are you from? 3D Games. I guess they just answer that question. Maybe, maybe not. Well, we have everybody from everybody. You know what? We don't discriminate on this channel unless you're trying to troll me, which then I'm just going to ban you because, like, see, the issue I have, I love when people troll me. I love engaging with trolls. It's not useful for the channel. So my rule is I'll give them 3 steps to three chances. 3 chances, meaning, if you make me mad 3 times in a row, no, you know what? I'm going to ban people on their first time. You know what? Because there's no reason to engage in trolls, because I'm not sure to talk to you guys about about coding and programming and actually making a difference in our lives to be able to change careers. Greetings from Mexico, brother. Viva America Latina. You got this. Yep, got it. You know what? I love Mexico. I've been to Hermosillo, Mexico a bunch of times. I love the food. I mean, I love the food a lot. Carne asada is probably, I could eat like 10 plates of that stuff. And everything else is so good. My ex-wife was from Mexico. And it was like one of the best places I used to love to go visit, which was phenomenal. And I can't say enough about the food. It was amazing. Alex, what's up? Man, Latinos representing. You know, it's good. It's all good. All good in the neighborhood because we want to have fun. We want to have a good time. We want to chat. If you haven't hit the smash the like button, go ahead and do so because it helps to get this stream out to other people that could benefit from it. And greetings, coding family here too. Coding After 30 family. Good vibes all the time, 100%. And that's why I like talking to you guys because you guys do bring out the best in this community. We always have positive conversations, always talk about things that could help us move forward, make a difference in our career. And in this video, I want to talk about reality versus expectations because there's some misconceptions that we may believe when learning to code that might hinder us in having realistic expectations and causing us to quit before we even give it a good chance. Hey Luke, great to see you here. Welcome to the stream as always. Man, got all my hardcore viewers on tonight. Yeah, the 6 o'clock time, it's good. Granted, I wish I could always be on 24/7 so everybody could watch the stream, but that's just not possible. So we do what we can. And in this show, like I said, we're going to talk about reality and expectations and when learning to code. So like I was saying at the beginning of the stream, I was talking to Logix, and yesterday he was helping me with something in JavaScript, helping me do more logic-based, games to help me think through problems and figure out how you would go about solving something. And we definitely ran into bugs while pair coding, and we definitely had situations where we get to a point you're like, wow, this is actually going to take a lot of thought, a lot of work to work through and figure out. And it might take hours, might take hour and a half, whatever it is. But the point is, it's not like you watch these tutorials where people just go through the steps and all of a sudden magically everything worked. You have to understand, with a lot of these tutorials that you watch online, people prepared, they tested the app, they worked through it backwards and forwards. So if anything, they're not going to have mistakes. And when you're learning, you want to make sure they present you with an easy to follow tutorial which does not have bugs. Because what happens if you do have a bug and you encounter it as a beginner learning to code, you won't know where to look to fix it, and you're going to not be able to finish the tutorial. I remember when I first started out learning React, I remember I would run into an issue like halfway through the lesson, maybe like 6 hours into it, closer to the end, and I'll be like, what is this bug? I can't figure it out. I don't know enough about programming. I can't solve it. And I would literally scrap the project, go to the first video and try to do it again from beginning because I did not know enough. So a lot of times when we're learning to code, it's okay for us to watch these perfectly presented tutorials, but at the same time, it's going to make us think or feel that that's how work is. When you're at a job, you're going to think that you just have to write perfect code and it just has to work all the time. And that is not the case. And when you're learning and you run into mistakes, you might start to think like, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I'm not meant to this. Not realizing that struggling with your code and running into issues is part of programming. And that's why you hear people say cliche things like this, being a programmer is not about coding. It's about solving problems. You know what I mean? And that's true. It's your job to solve a particular problem. And sometimes you might have a problem that you haven't seen a solution for, and you have to spend time doing research, looking things up. And that's just the way it is. When I got started at my first job, I literally would go up and I'd be like, today's the day. Today's the day I'm getting fired. I'm totally getting fired. Because my first week, definitely my first 2 weeks, I just, want to be honest with you. I would sit in front of my computer, look at the code, because the company I started with, there is no like introductory period. They just throw you into the code base, into the deep end. And I'm looking at the code and nothing makes sense to me. And I'm like, well, I could do these projects at home. It's not a problem. But at work, I literally spent hours just staring at the line of code, trying to make sense, trying to go through the code and not knowing what anything was. And the point is, that's normal. You have to learn the code base, and the things you don't know, you ask questions, and you spend a lot of time Googling, trying to fill in the knowledge that you're missing. And that's just part of what it is. And every day I'd come into work and I'm like, oh, I'm going to get fired. I'm going to get fired. I'm going to get fired. I don't know what I'm doing. And as I got comfortable, I got better. But still to this day, there's times where you're going to find something that just gets you stuck and you just have to work through it. So the only reason I say this to you guys is because the idea here is that if you want to become a programmer, you have to understand that nothing is perfect, and 80% of the time you're just going to struggle. So I always say, embrace the suck, embrace the struggle. You need to make it part of you to just be okay with it. And that's what coders do. They struggle through things, and then eventually they figure out the solution and they get it done. And that's the exciting part of coding. And I was talking to Logix Indy yesterday, and we talked a lot about code. And what we didn't talk about is like, oh, how much money can you make? Or how much money are you making? Because the point is, people that do programming, yes, money could be good eventually, but they do it because they love it. We actually just talked about code and nothing else. I guess you have to be kind of nerdy like that if you want to call it. But the point is, I love code. He loves code. So when we do our work, when we study programming, we study because we love it. And because we love it, we don't mind when we hit a setback. We don't mind when we get stuck. So that's important to keep in mind, that that's kind of the process of going things. Let's see on the chat here. So Luke, great question. Have you dug into Coder Foundry course yet? Any reviews, thoughts, or first impressions? So Luke, I did buy the course. Here's the thing though. This is a pre-order. This is like pre-purchase before the course comes out. So the course is technically not out. So there's not any coding material there. They're just trying to get initial kind of the people that supported their channel. They want to give them a good deal, and so they're kind of doing this kind of like a Kickstarter idea. The course is there. They're going to put out the content for sure, but they're giving you the best deal possible, which is $129 for the whole year. So I bought it, and I bought it with the intent because I do ASP.NET development, so I think it's going to be a good supplementary way for me to kind of study as I'm working. And what I like about them is they have a very structured curriculum, so I don't have to kind of try to piece things together. It's going to be one path from the basics all the way to becoming a full stack ASP.NET developer. Is this for everybody? You guys have to make that decision. I can't tell you go buy it now or don't go buy it. In my case, for $129, it made sense to me, because what I don't have to do is I don't have to scour the web and try to find tutorials. And any of you guys who, if you're a React developer, there's plenty of tutorials and free stuff that you could find that is good. I mean, you will find good stuff eventually. You have to look for it, and you spend time looking for stuff, but that's besides the point. But for C# stuff, there's not that many great courses, even on Udemy, even it's hard to find. Maybe I found 2 or 3 out of hundreds that they have there. And I'm kind of sick and tired of constantly looking for courses, starting them, and then being like, oh, this is not that good, this is not that good. So yes, I'm taking a chance for $129, but I know that they're going to raise the price to $99 a month once they release the course. So it's going to be $1,200 a year, which is already starting to add up. So snag it for $129. The way I look at it, it's like I'm going to take that chance. And of course, I'm going to review the lessons here, and I will tell you about the course once they start releasing the content. But right now, they're in that pre-sale portion. And yes, you're taking a chance, but $129. I guess you could, for $129, I'll be honest with you, you could buy 10 Udemy courses. So you could buy 10 Udemy courses. You just got to make sure that you buy them that in a way that all those 10 courses help you construct a curriculum that you could follow to get a job in the tech stack. you want. And yes, you could do that, and I've done that, but I like Coder Foundry, not gonna lie to you. I liked them before I even got interested in C#. I really like the value they give on the YouTube channel. So I look at it, you know what? I'm gonna invest in their course because from all the value I got from them on their YouTube channel. And if it's $129 that I pay and the course sucks, which I don't think it will, because they're going to be teaching the same stuff they're teaching in their bootcamp. So it'll be awesome. But we'll talk more about it, you guys, if you like. But that's just my opinion so far. Yes, hey, creating with code. Yes, please do a review on Coder Foundry course. By the way, greetings. Yes, I will once it's legitimately out. Right now, like I said, they're pre-selling the course. They're trying to build, excitement, get people sign in, and that's just how when you're launching a new course, that's how things go. When you're selling something that nobody knows about, you're gonna sell it for a very ridiculous low price because you want to get people in the door, you want them to have good experience, and you want them to give you good reviews. So that's what they're basically doing. They're saying, look, this course is going to be $1,200, but you could spend $129 right now, get into the course, and they're hoping on the fact that people that got in this early for a ridiculously low price will give them good reviews that will help them sell the course for what it's priced at. Now, some people will say, listen, on Udemy, I could buy a bunch of courses for $12. Yeah, you can, and go ahead. Do whatever you want to do. It's not a problem. But here's the thing that you guys have to keep in mind is that when you're signing up or buying a course, the idea is not just to buy the cheapest course you can. You want to buy a good course. And a lot of times what you're paying is not for the course, but you're paying for the full package, full presentation. They did their research. They have a lot of experience with ASP.NET and C#. They have a very good curriculum that you could follow. But of course, you don't have to buy through them. You could go on Free Code Camp. They actually have a really good outline curriculum, and you could follow that. The thing is about when I buy courses because I know they're going to save me time. Because if you have one-stop shop for the tech that you want to learn, instead of going left and right and Udemy and Pluralsight or whatever, you could just focus on that one bootcamp and from start to finish and go get the job. What I like about them also, they're going to not only teach you the programming skills, but they're also going to help you and walk you and teach you how to prepare yourselves for the interview and how to do it. So, I could talk about this all day long. Let's see in the comments. Well said, Paul. You said we're all relatable to my time was small. Team blah, blah, blah. I can't read. I can't see. I need my glasses. Yeah, thanks. So everything we talk about is relatable to working on a small team as a dev that you worked. Yes. So the struggle is real. So again, we're talking about this idea of reality versus expectation, and we'll talk about Coder Foundry Bootcamp a little bit more. I really like what they're doing, just the short of it, but at the same time, like, I invested $129, and because they didn't pay me nothing, I paid out of my pocket. So as I start doing the course, I will give you my honest feedback. The truth is, I would never recommend trash for you guys. I would just never do it. And when I say should you buy the Coder Foundry Bootcamp self-paced course, it's up to you. I just know that $129 is not a bad deal compared to what it's going to cost originally. So yes, and if you haven't liked, shared, or whatever you do on YouTube, go ahead and do so. And again, I really appreciate all of you guys being here. And on this live stream, we're going to talk about learning to code as a self-taught developer, reality versus expectations. And I definitely want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments the struggle, the things maybe that are working for you, maybe the things that are not working for you. How are you studying? Because the most important part, I want to chat with you guys and hear what you guys have to say. And as always, if any of you guys want to jump on a live call with me on the stream, that's always, always, always open to you guys. So let's look. More comments, then we'll talk some more. So I'm curious which dev tools you prefer, Chrome or Firefox. I'm using Firefox Dev Edition for the most part. Yeah, I used to use Firefox, and then at some point I started using Chrome. I just have no particular reason. I guess I just like Chrome. but it's not that it's worse or better. I think Firefox has slightly better tooling when it comes to like CSS grid and stuff like that, but I got used to dealing with Chrome, and for all of my development I use VS Code at home. But I do want to actually show you something interesting that I found, and I found it when I was watching a portfolio review, and some guy had this graph. He didn't put a good description to the graph, so I had nobody knew what it was. But then I looked into it. It's called Wacotime, and it's pretty awesome. So let me show you what it is. And I think I'm going to include it in my portfolio when I get it out there. So let me share my screen here. Yeah, so this is Wacotime. So what I like about this, and let me know if you guys could see my screen or not see my screen. There's got to be a way I could make this a little bit bigger. Let me switch it to another screen. Give me a hot second here. I'm gonna move it here. Wow, that worked. That didn't break anything. I'm gonna expand it to make it full screen. So here's let me go. It's probably not gonna go to their main page because I'm logged in, but check this out. Supported IDEs, and it supports all these IDEs. I obviously use it for VS Code here. It shows you how to install it, but you're probably wondering, what the hell does this thing do? Like, what does it do? And I think it's pretty awesome. So what it does, it basically keeps track of the time you spend coding and programming. So in the last 7 days, I spent, well, it's saying 7 days because I actually got this 2 days ago, but in the last 7 days, it shows you the report. You spent 7 hours, 26 minutes coding. So it shows today I spent 3 hours and 54 minutes coding. Friday, I spent 2 hours and 18 minutes coding. Thursday, I spent 1 hour. So, you know what? I wish these numbers were higher. Come on, like I keep telling you guys, spend more time coding. But this is a cool app because it basically allows you to track the time you spent physically coding in front of the computer. And what I also like about it here is that you see this graph. Okay, it doesn't get bigger as I thought it was going to get bigger. Maybe I could make it bigger here. Yes, make it bigger. Move it. Oh, that doesn't work. I broke it. Let me fix it again. So, always breaking stuff. Primary display. That's not it. We want to go. Did I close it? That is not cool. I did close it. You know, running into difficulties here. Everything broke. Everything's broken. Hold on a second. Let me open it again. I don't think I closed it though. That's ridiculous. Okay, so I'm still learning how to use this software, so it kind of disappeared. Here you go. Back in business. Share my screen. I'm not going to try to make it bigger because it broke it. But what's cool about it, it shows you like mostly what programming languages or technologies you're coding in. So you could see I'm a big JavaScript guy. Spent 5 hours and 7 minutes. Spent 50 minutes on C#. I mean, I just started using it, but I've been doing a lot more C#. I think what you're going to see as I keep using this app that, you know, I'm going to probably have maybe like 40% will be C# and then the rest will be like JavaScript or React related. So the reason why I like this cool app is because it allows you to track your progress, how much time you're coding, and it's absolutely free. You could go to wacotime.com and it's pretty amazing. And I think it's going to be cool, like to put on my portfolio to showcase what am I doing most of the time, like what technologies am I working on. So this is kind of cool. This is awesome. I just wanted to share it with you guys to kind of help you guys be like, hey, I want to know how much time do I really spend coding versus how much time I spend on YouTube, right? Yeah, I just said that. I did say that. Yeah, how much time are you guys spending on YouTube? So here's the thing. I'm all about this YouTube game. And sometimes I don't release videos is because I'm actually spending more time coding to grow my craft. So it's very important for you guys, regardless where you are, what you guys are doing, that you don't undermine the fact that the only way to get better at coding is to code. It's sitting in front of your Visual Studio and doing your coding. And that's why I wanted to show you this app that I just recently discovered, Wacotime, because it allows you to do just that. It allows you to start seeing a report of how much coding are you actually doing. So I could literally be to people like, hey, How much time do you spend coding? Oh, 30 minutes? What do you expect to accomplish 30 minutes? I mean, if that's all the time you get, more power to you. But the more you could code, the better for you it is. So that's how things are. That's how we can do things. Let's see here. We gotta scroll up a little bit, missing some of these. Australia's Lupus Firefox is awesome for grid. Yes, it's awesome, but that's not the one I wanted to show. I've got a second interview with a company next Wednesday. Really like them, so far, wish me luck. Brother, good luck to you. I hope you get it. Keep us posted. Let us know. And it's amazing that you're doing your second interview. Congratulations. Keep it up. All right. All right. A lot of good vibes. A lot of good lucks over here. Yep, always welcome, guys. Whenever I could find something that I think is going to be useful or make sense, I'd like to share it with you guys. Whack a time block school. I use an app called Time Doctor to do something similar. Nice, that's awesome. I'm going to have to check that out too. I'm sure there's plenty of apps that are available, and normally I'm not into like too many apps, but I think having a way to track the time you actually practice doing something like coding, it's important because you want to have a real idea of how much time you actually spend in coding and how much time you're spending doing other things like watching YouTube. Please never stop watching my videos, but at the same time, don't watch my videos if you're not coding. I'm just going to say that, guys, to you. Let's see here. Yeah, great question, Luke. What languages are you interviewing for? Always good to hear because it kind of shows us what people are hiring for. Yeah, that'll be great. So the answer is JavaScript. They use React Next quite a bit, some legacy PHP stuff. Yeah, you know, sometimes that's what happens. You're going to work at some companies where they already have a backend made in a particular language. And, you know, if it works, it works. Why change it? And by the way, there's nothing wrong with PHP. You know, I used to dabble in PHP a little bit, but not something that I would recommend for new developers unless there's a really good reason for it. But JavaScript, React, it's awesome. Next.js, of course, is awesome. Do I have public GitHub to follow? Yeah, I do. I'll have to link it. All the projects in there, they're just kind of like my mess around projects. So you're more than welcome to look at it, but they're hit or miss for sure. Because and then I do have some of my bigger projects that do matter. I do have them private because some of the stuff I'm working with a team of people, and so those projects obviously I don't share. But all my public stuff is just me trying new things out, and I'll have to share it like somehow on the link. Let's see here. You guys will know my real name. Not that I care that you guys know my real name. You know, you guys gonna stalk me on LinkedIn. Also, nothing wrong with that. The reason why I'm not afraid to put my real name out there, by the way, some people say it's hit or miss. Some people like, oh, you shouldn't do that. People gonna like whatever. It's because I want you guys to know that I'm a real person. I'm not like some dude who's hiding behind a pseudonym name or avatar and tells you how to do this stuff. I'm an actual person who's kind of like try to hustle, try to make this stuff, you know, make it work, you know, you guys. And so, yeah, by the way, if you didn't smash the like button, smash the like button. But here we go. Screen share this baby. Here's my GitHub. This is me right here. Paul Bruslavsky. I guess if you go to GitHub/Paul Bruslavsky, you could figure out how to spell it, you know, and go from there. Since you guys asked, here's my GitHub. I have a lot of public stuff, and then all the stuff that's important to me, I have it private for many reasons. But my public one, you could follow, check it out. But nothing too exciting in the public one. I see some of you guys already followed me, which is exciting. Anyway, I'm looking at stuff. I have no idea what I'm looking at. But yeah, so here's my GitHub. I also have LinkedIn. If you guys use LinkedIn, LinkedIn is kind of cool. Some of you guys follow LinkedIn. I don't know. LinkedIn. I guess that's how you spell it. Yeah, I'm a terrible speller. Verifying if it's me. So, yep. So here's LinkedIn. Here's my profile. Yeah, I don't mind publicly sharing this stuff because, hey, like I said, I want to be honest with you guys about what I'm doing to make sure that you guys know that, I'm not just some dude that just try to like tell you stuff on YouTube and be like, yeah, I'm gonna put a good one over there. I'm gonna be so tricky and whatever. The idea is, I'm a real person, working hard to get a job, and I want to share with you guys my experience so you guys could kind of be like, hey, if Paul could do it, I could do it, regardless of where you guys live, regardless of which part of your life you're in. For me, this is a second career. Let's see here. So my experience, I've been currently at my company for 1 year and 4 months. Before that, I did front web development at Point Marketing. I worked as a marketing manager at a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school. I also taught there as an instructor. I had junior JavaScript intern for 2 years, but that was part-time. So even though it seems like it's a long time, we were meeting once a week for a couple of hours. And I also did internship as a WordPress and PHP developer. And then prior to that, I sold insurance. And then prior to that, for 9 years, 10 years, I ran a martial arts school. I taught kids martial arts and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA. So my education, I dropped out of Manchester Community College. Well, I didn't technically drop out because technically I'm still enrolled. I just never went back. And here's my LinkedIn courses I took just for whatever reason I felt like they would look good. I don't know if they do. I speak 2 languages, English and Russian. And that's basically it. So see, I'm a real person. One thing that I made this a long time ago, and so I have to switch this. I really like this visual kind of ad here because when people come into my profile, they could see it really quick and be like, oh, these are the technologies to do. I gave up on these last 2, WordPress and PHP. So now I have HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, and now this is going to be replaced with C# and ASP.NET. And that's what I'm going to do. So if you guys want to connect with me on LinkedIn, you guys know where to find it. You know my GitHub. You could also check it out and see what I'm doing. Nothing too exciting here. There's this guy who's in our Slack channel. Where's the history? I don't even, you could see how much I use it. No, I don't want that. I want to go very sporadic, because sometimes I just don't commit stuff. I keep stuff on my personal computer. But I know a guy, he's got everything's checked. Green. Like that one guy is super committed, doing an amazing job. So that's it. That's me in a nutshell. Look, I exposed myself to you guys. You guys now know I live in Austin, Texas. Please do not mail me gifts to my house, Anyway, so that's it. Let me jump back in the chat here, see what you guys are doing here. Yep, we saw this one. Just looking at the chat. I'm a little slow reading. I'm glad that I don't have this many subscribers and people follow me yet, because I would hate to look at my chat and having it go like really fast. I wouldn't be able to keep up with anybody. Let's see. That's one good one. There we go. Let's do this one. The problem with a lot of time tracker apps in the dashboard doesn't spit out averages and other gamified metrics like that. Yeah, but I think it's just good to have a general idea of what you're doing. You could actually just write it down. You're now following me on GitHub. We are GitHub friends. Yes, fantastic. I'm gonna have to follow you back, and you guys will get to see all the terrible GitHub code because all my public code is terrible. Maybe all my private code is even more terrible. That's why it's private, but it is what it is. Yep. And let's see here. Quick poll: for some of you self-taught devs, with JavaScript course helped you the most? Yeah, like, so that's a great question. So I could actually show you guys here my bajillion Udemy accounts and courses. Since we're chilling and having a good time, let me screen share this baby. I really like, so this is my one account, and let's like, so I have 138 courses, and I think it's my active courses, because you could also do archived courses, which I just was like, I'll never do them. But I'm like an addict to buying courses. This is why I tell you, don't buy courses. You're just going to be throwing away your money, wasting money. So I bought 138 courses on this particular account. And I think it's more because it's not counting the archive courses. So 138 times 10, damn, I don't even want to do that math. That's a lot of money, because I could have just bought that self-paced course if I was interested in ASP.NET for $129, and it's a full complete bootcamp. But speaking of which good classes for JavaScript, let's see what we have here. And by the way, at one point, I'm going to make reviews for all the best classes one day. So these are some of the amazing JavaScript courses I have, and you could see some of them I took, some of them I didn't, and some of them I'm just thinking about never taking, just because it's information overload. But here's one. Where is it? Maybe it's not on this account. You're like, what? You have more accounts? I'm trying. Look how many courses I bought. And this is the thing. Like, don't buy too many courses like I do. Make sure you guys. And the course that I'm looking for, it's not even in this account. So I'm gonna have to go and log out. That's not how you log out. Log out. Log in. And let's do a different user. This is going to blow you guys away. You guys are going to be like, bro, you spend so much money on Udemy courses. What's wrong with you? And I think a lot of people do that. You know what I mean? A lot of people spend tons of money on courses they never finish. And I'm able to say that because I have tons of courses that I never finish. It's just the way things are. So let's see what, let's go back to my courses here. This is probably going to be even more ridiculous. My learning. Yeah, I have 2 accounts on Udemy. Okay, this is not bad. 49 courses, and I guarantee you this is saying 49 because it's not showing any of the archived courses. Let's see, categories, archived. Let's just do it. 126 archived courses. Do you believe that? So, by the way, when it comes to these are the, by the way, I archived these courses because I completed them. So you could see. Maybe I could make this. No, I can't make this bigger. What the hell is going on with this computer? So I could see for HTML and CSS, Brad Travesty does a good job with this modern HTML and CSS from the beginning, including Sass. And you can see I completed 100% of the course, and I gave him 5-star rating because that course was a really good introduction to HTML CSS. And I always say you only need one good HTML CSS course, and the rest you could fill in from YouTube and stuff like that. So this is the course that I took. And for JavaScript, this is what I would recommend. Modern JavaScript from the beginning. I gave obviously 5-star review. I completed all these sections, built all these projects, and I just want to show it to you guys because I want to show you what it covers. So you get started. Okay, obviously that's all that general stuff, but you learn basic fundamentals from variables, data types, type conversion, types and numbers, template literals, array methods, object literals, dates and time, if switch statements, general loops, block scope with let and const, very important concept. Then you move on. Once you understand the basics of JavaScript, you go through the DOM manipulation, which is good to know. And it talks about like different selectors and how like things work. And this is good to know, but most of the time you're not going to be building big apps with vanilla JS. You're going to do React, but that's besides the point because this is just introduction to JavaScript. Amazing course. Then you do a bunch of DOM projects, and this is where you solidify kind of like your knowledge in manipulating the DOM. And also, even though JavaScript is not a true object-oriented programming, you could use classes, which is syntactic sugar. It's not the same as doing, let's say, C#, but you have class-like things you could do, and you could kind of simulate that object-oriented programming. He goes over that 6 classes, which is really nice, and then you go and build some more applications with object-oriented programming paradigm in JavaScript. Then this is a fun part, and I always tell people don't skip on being able to do asynchronous JavaScript by fetching stuff from API, and you could use .then or async await, and he covers all those things here. He talks about the fetch API, he talks about async await, and he also shows you how to create your own small API project, which allows you to get data from a GitHub. But what's cool about it, he does it in both in OPP programming and functional programming, which is very interesting. Then we briefly talk about handling errors, regular expressions, talks about newer features, talks about some basic JavaScript patterns. Then we do some more projects, and then some. So another thing that everybody should be familiar with is basic CRUD, create, read, update, delete functionality. And so this is a great project. So as you can see, this project is 21 hours of video. It's a lot of time. And that's why I tell you, don't have to buy bajillion courses. Just buy one that works. So this is the course that I would recommend, if you're looking to learn JavaScript, and, really, really good course. Let's see some more stuff here. And I could recommend more courses, but I'm just going to recommend one, because if you haven't started with one JavaScript course, that's the one to start with. Now, following you on Git and LinkedIn. Thanks, Ben. I'll follow you back when I get a chance. I've tried a bunch, around 30 various coding courses, and they all add up to some good stuff and are flawed. Best learning I had was figuring out things on after the courses, and that's 100% true. When you're learning to code, like a majority of your learning is going to come from your personal failures. But one thing that I will tell you guys, with a lot of these courses that you saw, and I could even show to you on the computer here, most of these Udemy courses, it's like taking first grade math, and then next year taking first grade math again, and then next year taking first grade math again. Like every course on JavaScript or everything, they all cover beginner concepts. So once you get past the point of being beginner, a lot of those Udemy courses don't really teach you anything new. So I could say this, and one of the reasons why I don't finish a lot of the courses that I have is I look at what they're teaching and I'm like, I already know this stuff. There's no sense of me repeating something that I don't know, especially if it's something, repeating things that I do know, especially if something that now is easier for me. I don't want to keep doing the easy stuff. So I have to look for more intermediate courses. And by the way, a great place to find intermediate stuff, coding. And again, a lot of this stuff is not cheap. And once you start adding up, like Pluralsight is a good one. And then Egghead.io, which by itself was $200-something. I have to Google it because I can't spell. Egghead.io was basically $249 or something like that for the year. And once you add your Pluralsight subscription, your this subscription, that subscription, it just starts getting add up, and you will overspend. And that's why sometimes paying $129 and buying a course just makes sense, especially if it's an amazing deal that Coder Foundry is offering. So if you go to learncoderfoundry.com, you could read more about it. Again, I'm not telling you to buy this course. Don't buy this course if you're on the rope. I bought it, because it's $129. I love taking courses and not finishing them. But this one I'm going to commit to and finish, because I am determined for this year to transition to a full stack developer. And because I already know JavaScript, I'm familiar with Node.js. I want to add C# as the language. But anyway, enough about them. Here's Egghead.io. They have a lot of great intermediate level stuff here. But again, to sign up, if you look at the pricing here, and this is like an issue. I'm already logged in, so I can't show you the pricing. But it all adds up. It all gets expensive. So you kind of have to pick and choose where you want to spend your time learning. But as you can see, I have Udemy. I have Pluralsight. I have Egghead.io. I even tried another one. And the point is, none of them matter if you're not finishing and if you're not building stuff. If you know what I mean? Because you could take courses for the rest of your life and not get anywhere. And obviously, because I have this YouTube channel, one of the reasons why I subscribe to all these things, so when you guys ask me questions about them, I could kind of know what I'm talking about. But it doesn't mean that I go through every course and that that's something that's going to help me. Like having one good path, and if you want to go complete like free route, you could go to Free Code Camp and just follow their tutorials. And by the way, a lot of people, talk about 3 months, 2 months to complete something. Look at these tracks and just wrap your head around it. Responsive web design certification. Basically, it's HTML, CSS, and what else they have there? I know one, visual design and accessibility, which is very important. And this is 300 hours, 300 hours. And then you want to put JavaScript and JavaScript algorithm and data structures. That's another 300 hours. And then front-end development with React, another 300 hours. So that's like 900 hours of studying. And so like, how can you do this in 3 months, 6 months? Like, I have no idea. And so you have to set realistic expectations. That's like the whole point, bringing it back to this idea of why we are even here today, talking about, reality versus expectation. Reality, people might sell you the dream, say in 3 months, you're going to make, tons of money. Or expectation, I guess I should say. But the reality of the thing is like, no, it takes time. It's hard work. And you really have to, suffer through the struggle. Look, and this is just the first 3. Imagine if you wanted to go through all this. And by the way, nobody goes through all of these. But as you could see, Free Code Camp offers free curriculum. And if you've never done Free Code Camp, like let's say I don't want to spend any money on anything, you could use this as your curriculum. They also, have videos like, oh, I don't know what the hell this is talking about, get help. And the get help is in the form of a video that you could watch.
The remainder operator looks like a...
All right, that's good to know. And they explain it to you via video and show you in code. And then you could use, YouTube and Google stuff to kind of fill in the gaps in this curriculum. But what I like about is that you have the curriculum, and like I don't personally go through this stuff. I just use their curriculum as an outline of what are the things that I have to know and study. But as you could see, it doesn't matter which path you decide. If you decide to buy a course from Coder Foundry, if you decide to do stuff free on YouTube, if you decide to do stuff like that, it's all good as long as you're studying in front of a computer, as long as you put in the work, doing the coding, and you're building stuff. Most important part is building projects that you could show to your potential employees. So let's take a good look at the comments. I already see some good ones. Let's see here. Well, this one first. I don't want to cut people in line. If I ever get down to Austin, we should grapple with COVID is done. Yes, we should grapple. That would be amazing. I don't know what level you're at, but it will be fun regardless. Just don't hurt me. I like rediscovering JavaScript by, that's a good recommendation. I haven't heard about it, so I'm going to put it in my notes and take a look at it. Thanks, Luke. Following and get LinkedIn. I've probably seen this already. Lard, thanks for the support. Yeah, I'm repeating myself again, going back in the comments. Are you going to do coding ASMR videos? I think so. I think that's a fun idea, Luke. What I was actually thinking, I was going to go look up Reddit nightmares and read them in, super, I don't know if I have a seductive voice. We could even try it. Let's see. Reddit programming fails or nightmare stories. Nightmares. So I was thinking of like, it would be great to do ASMR, while reading Reddit, and maybe having some nice like music. Not like this. This is not going to be like, but this is going to be your first taste of what it's going to be like. By the way, if you want to get some ASMR channel, which is really good, go check out Tech Rally. His voice, I don't know how, his voice is just so soothing. I could like listen to him speak softly. All right. This is really not stories. Okay, this is not what I was looking for. So apparently there's no stories. But I was thinking of looking up like a story and reading it. Here we go. I don't even know if these are... How are these... Does anyone have... This is not. This is nightmares. This is not programming. Programming. Let's do our programming. Programming. That would make sense, right? Again. Anyway, this backfired. You know, but I was basically gonna read some funny Reddits in like a very like low voice. I don't have a low voice, by the way. That sounds terrible. You know what? Watch other channels for SMI, I can't even say it. Anyway, so this was a big fail. I tried something, but anyway, if you guys find some good stories or articles you want me to read, I will read it for you guys. You know, like React routers. Let's see that. Let's see. You know, you could look up. I could just read stuff. Anyway, forget it. I'm going on attention. Let's get back to the show. Thanks, Luke, for the recommendation. As you could see, I lose my focus really. Yes. Basically, somebody asked me if I would do ASMR videos, and I said, look, if you guys want to hear the most soothing voice on the internet, follow Tech Rally. By the way, if you want to jump in for a brief moment, you know, always great to have surprise videos from you. We could do a chat if you have time. We talk about reality and expectations, reality versus expectations when learning to code as a self-taught developer. So always great to have you, Tech Rally. You're my hero. I follow you, and I always use your channel for comparison because I know you're going to get up there. And if I just keep up with you, that means I'm going to get up there. So it's going to be phenomenal and awesome. Yep, the struggle is real, brother. I bet if you learn all those 79 courses, you're going to be like a mad genius. Hey, Kin, good to see you. Fetch in JavaScript is pretty nice. Yes, it is. Actually, Web Dev Simplified on YouTube really helped me with several React concepts. Yeah, he has a great channel. There's definitely no shortage of great YouTube channels out there. But I don't know if they're as handsome as I am or as well. I'm just kidding. Oh, who gives a crap? Let's see. Yeah, I got to find some good stories. Basically, guys, if you find some good Reddit, why am I even sharing this screen? If you guys find any good Reddit horror stories, send them to codingafter30@gmail.com, and I will make a SMR type of video where I read with spooky music, you know, the story. I think that's a good idea. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, Tech Rally, man, love that guy. Is it my turn to get jealous now? You passed me in subs. Or listen, I see your subs. It's not. I don't think I passed you yet. I'm gonna have to look. It's gonna be exciting. On Paul's recommendation, yeah, his channel is amazing. I get jealous because I know he puts in so much more work than I do into his videos, and it shows because he does really good content. But I do get jealous. He does amazing stuff. Yeah, by the way, send them to techrallyconnect@gmail.com, your nightmare Reddit horror stories. We should have a contest to see who does a better read. Like, obviously he's already winning because his voice is so goddamn amazing, but maybe, just maybe, I might put some personality into mine and do different accents. I can't do accents, but it'll be hilarious. Hey, listen, don't be kidding with that stuff. You know you want to read some Reddit stories. Tech Rally, tell me the truth. Don't deny it. You know you're going to kill it. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, anytime, Tech Rally, you want to do live, let me know. I know it's always like I'm having issues with equipment here. I didn't know this. This is whatever. It'll be great. If you want to jump on today, if you have a minute, definitely be cool. If not, that's okay too, because I don't mind. Let's, yeah, guys, I just want to say every time we do these live streams, regardless how many people watch, I don't even look at the count. But I do want to thank each and one of you for joining, because without, this thing is bothering me, without you guys, this channel wouldn't exist. This community would not exist. I said it last time, and I'm going to say it again. You guys are like, I'm the reflection of the good vibes that you guys send this channel, because I love the interaction we have. I love all the just how awesome all of you guys are, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And most importantly, don't be shy in the comments. Let me know what's going on with you guys. Let me know how you guys progressing, what challenges you have, because ultimately I don't just want to talk about what I do. I also want to hear what you guys get to say. This is very important for me to have you be part of the community, because you are the community. Without you, I mean, I'm still just some random guy on the internet, but without you guys, like, this community would not exist. Art programming humor gets me through my non-coding job right now. Yeah, that'll be an excellent one to check out. I'm gonna I'm sure they show some funny ones. Let's see here. Can I copy and paste? No, I can't copy and paste that. That's so weird. Yeah, they got some funny ones. Let's see here. Oh, you. Listen, what's funny, like, I don't even use Reddit. I gotta learn more about it. How things are. How to even pick things on Reddit. I'm like a Reddit noob. Our Reddit something. Anyway, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to like look up some good stuff on Reddit to share with you guys. That'll be exciting as always. So, man, having time. Smash the like button if you guys having fun. Let me know how you guys doing. Love to hear from you guys. So, yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys are building. What projects are you working on? What, things you're doing. I actually wanted to experiment, not saying that you guys should do this, but I wanted to experiment building some desktop applications with React, JavaScript, using Electron, and that's something that I kind of quickly tried this weekend. I'm not saying I'm going to build any applications, but once in a while I like to try new things to kind of get an idea. So if some of you guys are curious, I could show you some of the code, and if me showing you the code becomes boring, you could always let me know and be like, hey, we don't care for the code, no one cares about it, don't show it to us. So but first, let me answer this question. Do you have any advice for the job hunt? I've been through so many interviews and I'm bummed that I'm unable to get my first role. Yeah, it's just, it was a struggle for me. It took me a long time. I literally spent a year searching for a job before getting one. So it definitely gets hard. What I would do it's kind of hard for me to give advice. By the way, Tech Rally has some good advice about that as well. And also the guy, his channel used to be called CompSci CodeFi. If you Google that on YouTube, they'll come out. But I think it's Hamza Amer that has a great channel where they give a lot of great advice on how to land your first job. And I also did an interview with Hamza. If you didn't see it, check it out. It's really good in terms of we went over my basic portfolio, my resume, and kind of talked about what I should change or what I should do when I'm preparing for the next role. But one of the things that everybody keeps telling me is this: if you're not getting interviews, and I don't know, is it, so you've been going to a lot of interviews, so that means you're getting interviews, which is good. Some people don't even get interviews. For me, it's been very difficult getting interviews when I first started. And then, so if you're not getting the job, that means maybe it's, and I don't know, I'm just guessing here, maybe and let me know in the comments what type of interviews are you getting, but it might be facet of things. Are you doing most of the interviews that require more algorithmic type of stuff and you're just not as good as they expect you to be? Or are your projects not strong enough to kind of show, or maybe you're not able to talk about them in a way that, employers see and confidence in you being able to do the job? yeah, so yeah, and so it's basically becomes like kind of trying to figure out. And I just saw your last comment about getting some, but not past that. And when you go to interviews, don't be shy, regardless of you, they say no. Ask them in an email or next time you get a chance to talk to them. And definitely, if they don't respond to you, keep emailing them a few times. It won't hurt you, but be like, hey, thank you for the interview. I really appreciate the time. And even though you guys didn't take me today, do you mind sharing with me why? And ask him why, and they'll tell you. They'll be like, well, we didn't think, not everybody will tell you, but the ones that will, they will give you good feedback for you to kind of start to see what you should change. So ask him and be like, why did you decide not to go with me? They might say, oh, this other candidate just was a better fit. And you could be like, but why? Like, was it the project? Was it the education? What was it? And, if they tell you, okay, your portfolio, we didn't feel it was strong enough, then at least, that's something that you have to work on. Maybe they'll say, well, we didn't feel your resume on a second look was what we wanted. Then, you have to work on your resume. But you kind of have to, like, ask why. It's very important. A lot of people, they just get a no and they just, like I used to do. I'm like, oh, I didn't get a job. But ask why you didn't get a job. You need that kind of data so you could change what you're doing in your life to prepare yourself better for the next interview. And definitely check out Tech Rally's channel and Hamza's channel for interview related stuff. But there's, very hard to give advice without being able to see your portfolio or your resume and stuff like that, and also what kind of demands you guys have, in your area. I failed one algo one, but mostly doesn't go past the initial interview. Yeah, you should definitely ask him why. And by the way, I failed plenty of algo interviews, so don't feel bad. Like recently, also had an issue, but it's just the way it is. But start asking people why, so you could kind of start building data. What is it about it that's not helping you get a job? I like your cat. It's a funny story about Luke. If I don't seem happy, I am happy. I love my cats. I have two of them. I have two cats. How did I get them? You're probably wondering, because we've never saw you have cats, and one day appeared. Well, that's what you call children. So when you guys have kids, a lot of times they're just going to make decisions in their life, and you're going to have to bear the responsibility of it. So my daughter, she was in the Navy, living in United States, was doing really good. And she decided to get two cats. Instead of one cat, she's like, I want two cats. Brother and sister, I totally get it. And then a week after she gets him, she finds out that she has to move to Japan for 3 years, and there's no way she could take the cats with her. And so what does she do? She just shows up. And she's like, Dad, I love you so much. And because I love you so much, I got you two gifts. And she shows me these two cats. Like I asked for cats for my birthday. No, like, why don't you get me like a gift certificate to a fancy restaurant where I could eat some barbecue? But anyway, so that's how I got two cats. I love them to death. I love animals. So, I'm not going to complain about it outside of how much I just complain about it. Yeah, some don't even have coding questions. Yeah, it's true. And so, like, I would start. So right now, your place where you're getting stuck is doing the interview. So I would start reading, like, or watching videos on how to interview well, how to present yourself in an interview. Because ultimately, when you go into an interview, you want to do enough of those where you could talk in them kind of like I'm talking to you guys, right? Even if you're saying the wrong thing, just being more confident goes a long way, and shows more to potential, like, people that are going to employ you, that you're willing to do the work, you're willing to show up, you're enthusiastic about it. I'm not saying that's the only thing, but it's very important to literally practice. Like, learning to code is one thing, passing interviews is another, and that's a separate skill that you have to develop. And what I would say as a quick kind of response to it, because I don't have your portfolio or your resume, is start watching interviewing YouTube videos on how to present yourself in the interview. Watch like the 30 most commonly asked questions on the thing that you're interviewing for. Make sure you know them in and out. And that's something I have to do as well. But that's what I'm going to say there. Just keep it up, my brother. Keep it up. Listen, I've had hundreds of interview, and then I got my first job. Not exaggerating, and now I'm looking for my second job, and I already had so many rejections. It's just the way it is sometimes. Just keep at it. I would be curious to see your lecture stuff. Curious how it compares to C sharp. So you're literally using basically what Electron is, and I'll show you guys in a second. You're literally using whatever JavaScript, like it's based like the backend and the inner workings. It's running Node, but for your UI, you could do it with vanilla JavaScript, or in my case, I use React. So it literally looks like any React projects. The only different Electron is like the way I would think about it. It's a container for, I don't know why I'm doing this, but it's a container for your React application to run natively on the computer in a basically a browser window. And the difference between the Electron browser, it doesn't have like the search bar, it doesn't have all that other stuff. It's just a window, like a container for you to run your React or JavaScript code. So I'm still kind of familiarizing myself and learning about it, but I'm going to show it to you in just a moment. First, I'm going to take this. I'm optimistic C# desktop stuff is going to get a lot better in NetDissolve, and I think it will. And the only reason I tried Electron, because I'm like, hey, VS Code is building that. I already know JavaScript and React, so to build a cross-platform application that I could run on my Mac and Windows using one code base is great. And I think like whatever your strength is, for me, obviously React and JavaScript is my stronger suit, so it makes a lot more sense for me to use that. And for someone like who's more C#, there's other ways to build desktop applications with C#. But I kind of like just the concept of it, web-based applications with JavaScript using Electron. I don't know how popular it's going to be. Like, I don't even know if there's jobs with it, but like me making this Electron app outside of like the initial setup and some of the native commands that allow you to kind of connect to native Mac OS functions, it literally is just the basic React application. And I know there's going to be a lot of good stuff on C# for building, man, I'm losing my mind, building desktop applications. But my whole thing about it, I don't think like desktop application development is, like a huge thing. I think a lot of people are going to be going through these web-based technologies, and that's why like Electron, it's not a big stretch for me because it's all web-based. And I know like C# and Net5 will have their own thing, which will be basically web-based applications that you run natively on your local computer, and obviously going to be cross-platform. And I'm definitely going to look into that C# because C# is going to be my like second big language that I'm learning. So I am going to get into all those things, and I'd love to have more of this conversation with you, of course. So let me share my screen too. So before I get into and sometimes it is for everybody. I have the same issue. For me, it's an issue with my resume that I'm actually currently working. Just keep it up, and you're always welcome, and I hope my advice was helpful. So with that being said, let's take a look at my screen here. So share my screen. All right, guys, so here's the window. I'm gonna close this. We don't need this. This is gonna stay open. All right. Can I make it bigger? Yes, I can. I can make it bigger for you guys to see clearer. So before I show you, what am I doing? npm start. Before I show you, this is kind of like the general application, and it's basically going to be a chat thing. And I'm following a tutorial on this, but the way let me just say this. So I am following a tutorial how to do this, right? But here's one thing I want to show you and tell you guys and I'll share as an example. This is going to be a good opportunity of how to do it. And that's why a lot of times if you guys watch me do a tutorial and then you see my code is way different from the code inside the tutorial, and I'll tell you why. And this is actually the way I've been studying. So I'm going to use any course on Udemy as an example here. And so I keep wanting to show you my Electron project, but I think this is going to be important. Let's say, actually I'll do, I wonder if I have the sim on. Okay, so here's the course I'm taking. So here's the thing here, and we don't have to do the tutorial or go through the whole thing here, and I'll come back to it. So all I need to do is this. So look at this. So here, this video talks about separating components, basically taking, maybe that's a bit bad example. Let me find something a little bit easier. So router. So you could click on the video, you could watch the video, but let's say you're kind of familiar with this. So what I do is I'm like, okay, he wants to build router. So what I do is, instead of finishing watching this video, I'll go here and I'll do React router. That's not what I looked. I wanted React router, but I'm just kind of showing you. And I'm sorry I'm going on a tangent, but I think this is important. So, and then I look up at the documentation for React router. So I am still doing the course, but instead of, just following the instructor, I'm like, he's going to talk about React router. Let me actually go in here and do some reading about React router. So, okay, I'm reading about React router. Okay, examples of basic routing. And okay, if this doesn't make sense for you guys, don't worry about it. I'm just kind of walking you briefly through this idea. And I kind of familiarize myself with the documentation, the basics, look at some examples. Okay, you want to import router into your app. You want to make sure you have switch and routes are where you want to send people to. This will render that component in React, and link is the actual link that sends people in there. And they show a basic example here. And then what I do is I go to my code and I try to recreate that. Now, obviously, I already did this part, but I try to do it first, right? Without finishing the video, because I want to try on my own first before seeing the solution. And this is maybe not for complete beginners to learn this way, but it's a great way once you kind of have an idea. So what I do is I just basically give it a try. And the way, now it's too big. Let me make it smaller. But the way React router works is the first thing you do is, this is actually the Electron application, but there's no point of me showing how routing works, but I just wanted to show that as an idea because I want to start from my kind of beginning here. You guys are going to get lost really quickly if you haven't looked at React and React routers together. But the idea is I try it first myself. I type in the code. If I get stuck, I go back and I look at the documentations, like what am I doing wrong, and then I will watch more of the video. So the point is, don't just watch the video playing and then copy and paste what they're typing. It's really not going to help you, learn in a way that helps you to actually work through things in your mind. You don't want to copy and paste things. You want to struggle with the problem. So enough about that solution. Let me go back to, this is the app. So this is the app that we're building. And so what I did is I basically watched the video and then I'm like, okay, and I coded all this stuff out. So if you look at, the structure of my code, it's going to be a lot different than the code the instructor in the tutorial wrote, because I'm not trying to copy and paste what the instructor is doing. I'm trying to understand what the instructor is doing, and then I am doing my own version of that based on my understanding. So let's quickly talk about. So when you start an Electron app, you basically have this main file, and this is like your main entry point to communicate with Electron. And so the first thing you do is you get app from Electron and browser window from Electron. That's like the first things you guys need. You have your basic setting file, which has the width, the height of the window that you open. Like for instance, you see this is when it opens at 800 by 600, and then I have min, width, and height, so it doesn't close less than this. So you can see it here, min, width, height, so it doesn't go beyond. So it's basic like settings that you do. Then what you do is you create a function to create a window, and you pass into it browser window that we're getting from here and the settings that you want. And then you tell which file you want it to load. Then when you write a function, run on start, basically what happens when it is ready, so when you start the app, it will run on start and it'll run create window. Create window will run this code, which will generate your browser, or I guess your this is a browser window. Like if I hit F5, I think, or F12, I don't know what it is, view, but see, you have developer mode. It's exactly like it would be in a browser. The only thing you're missing is the actual address thing. Very similar, but basically that's going to create your window, and within that window you could have access through these helper functions that I wrote to run certain native events. And I know I'm kind of like jumping all over the place, but that's just a basic idea. So we have this show notification function that basically, you know, this is web based, but when I hit log out, notice this is natively generated alert on my Mac. So every time I hit this, you see it generates. So what I like about Electron is that you're able to use your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to create native apps that have access to the actual native application, either on your OS or Windows. So I hope this is making sense. In terms of file structure, right, you could have this HTML, and if I wasn't using React, I could write my HTML here, you know, and this is what's going to show up here. Like for instance, if I, you know, break it here, and go back here, notice it's hello, right? It's literally like writing HTML. So I could write my whole HTML website here. I could have a JavaScript file. Now this has React in it, but I could have a JavaScript file and write vanilla JS and literally build my Electron app with vanilla JavaScript and CSS. And then through the preload function, I could create, I guess you could think of this as a bridge between your front end call, which uses IPC renderer to connect to the functionality of the actual physical OS or Windows, and be able to trigger your native events like this alert that I had here. Oops. The alert that I had here from your JavaScript. And again, if it's getting too much complex, you know, I'm still kind of working through that, but that's the general idea. And because this is a React app, you know, I don't need to write my HTML. Where's that file? Yeah, I don't need to write my HTML like normal HTML here. What I'm actually doing is I have this script that basically goes into my build folder and it runs my React application. So where's the build folder? App.js. So this is after it's been transpiled through Babel to be able to understand what a browser, and this is like the code that it runs. So every time I save, like if you see new terminal, not new terminal. Where's my? Okay, I guess it's got to be new. I didn't kill it. But if I do npm run watch, it will watch my application for changes, and this is going to be npm start, and open the second one, and every time I make changes on my application, it will literally rebuild my application, store it in the build file here, and it will serve that build in the HTML, and that's why you're able to see the view here, if that makes sense. Okay, let me know, guys, if you lost me. Let me know, because I don't want to talk about this stuff if this is not interesting and if this is boring to you guys. So let me know if I lost you. But before I just hop off here, and if you've done any React development, you could now see that basically I have my index file where I'm pulling in React and React DOM. I am showing through this get element ID route, which refers to this div, and basically all my React code gets, you know, rendered in this div. And you could look at the components I have. So I have the main app component, and the main app component has the navbar and my routing. Basically, routing, depending where you go, will show a certain view. So when you log in, it automatically goes to the home page, and that's what you see. So you see this main view, you see this navbar. So if I go here, see we have the navbar and we have the main view. Like if I were to comment this out and save it and recompile, see the navbar is gone. I come back here and I uncomment it out. Boom, save it, come back. Now you see my navbar. And it's basically a basic React application. And again, if you don't, and it consists of a bunch of different views that I have to finish. And then I have all my components. I have my button component, which is these buttons. So I just pass a bunch of props, and depending on the props I pass, it will generate either a red button, a green button. But that's the basics of it, not to kind of get too crazy or out of the way. Basically, I'm able to use the stuff that I already know, like React and JavaScript, and build a native application, which is web-based because it's running through basically a browser window that's running on your computer. And what's interesting, VS Code is built in this, Slack is built in this. So there's a lot of big companies that do use Electron. But though, you know, without like boring you guys too much about it, let me come back here. I think I probably lost a lot of you guys in terms of the boredom level, but I could talk about programming in general all day long. But the point that I'm trying to stress, like the only reason I wanted to try Electron is because it's something I already know in terms of I know JavaScript, I know React, and it's just learning a little bit about the Electron API and how it creates a container for you to run the code that you already would run on the web, but run it natively on the desktop through the web window. And that's why I did it, because I wanted to try. But you know, are there jobs that gonna hire me for that? I don't know, but I felt like it's not that big of a stretch because it still allows me to practice React. So that's some of the things that I'm working on. I'm also working on some ASP.NET stuff. So with that being said, guys, let's do some few last questions for the next 10 minutes before we end the stream. Let's do some rapid fire stuff and let me know what you guys, your thoughts, what kind of projects you guys working on. And I know like sometimes you guys are a little chilled in the comments, but I really, you know, want to hear from you guys, see what you guys have to say, and kind of, you know, see where you guys at. You know, don't be shy. Let me know. Let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Yeah, 2x speed on only way on Udemy. That's 100%. And I bet there's some people that want to say, oh, I have a 30-hour tutorial, and they speak very slowly. Today, we are going to make an H1 tag. And then when you watch it on double the speed, it sounds like normal talk, which is hilarious and funny. So, yep. So anyway, guys, come on, let's do some last questions. Let's do some rapid round questions. By the way, I always have fun with you guys being here. Just want to say thank you for all the love that you guys show. Always fun, always great. I hope you guys have just as much fun as I do, and I'd love to hear from you guys. So, thank you very much for coming out. And so let's do a couple more, guys. Couple more questions. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what else can I show you before I go. More exciting stuff. Exciting stuff. Do I have exciting stuff? I think, that's all the excitement we had for today. All right, guys. I guess we're all out of questions. Sometimes, well, we did do a lot. We talked a lot about a lot of things. We had a lot of great comments. As always. Thank you for tuning in, and we're going to end this live stream here. And I just want to say I really appreciate everything you guys do. If you like what we talk about on this channel and you want more of it, you could always go and check out my channel on YouTube, Coding After 30, obviously. But you could also join us on Slack. You could send me an email at codingafter30@gmail.com. We work on 5 projects there to prep us to be able to eventually land our next job. But with that being said, guys, I really thank you for your time, and I will see you guys later.